This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Test, check 1, 2. You know you need unique New York. You know you need unique New York. Does that sound all right? Ah, that's better. You can always tell something's missing when you get isolated results. Like AI that's only right for one of your systems. Get AI that can work across your data and applications. Learn more at IBM.com. The AI built for business. IBM.
Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Mega is an improvised satire from the staff of a fictional megachurch.
We are here, the Lord, we are here, and we're ready to podcast.
Hiya, I'm Hallie Labatt, and this is Mega, coming to you from Twin Hills Community Church. Every week, we love giving our mega church a tiny family feel. We love introducing you to members of our church staff and people from our community, and today it's no different. We have an awesome guest, and per usual, I'm joined by my co-host. He's the youth pastor for our high school ministry called Climax. Please welcome your friend and mine, Gray Haas.
I'm having a blast because of Super Christ and Supercast, Hallie. How are you?
Oh, Supercast has truly made me feel way too blessed to be stressed. We just launched mega.supercast, and if you go there and become a member, it will truly make us feel blessed. Do you know what, Gray? I get an email from Supercast every time somebody signs up and becomes a mega member.
That's right.
And every time somebody becomes a member, it means we're going to be able to keep making this podcast, which I love so much. And from the very jump, I got an email from Jody H. and Avery S. and Allison R. and Manuel P. and Kristen A. and Blaine H. and Helly R. and Mark S. Those last two were jokes. I'm just JK, just JK.
I didn't get the joke.
I wouldn't know about that, but my Audi Holly sure would, and your Audi Greg H. sure would. But nope, we're in here, and we are ready to praise him for you listening and considering supporting us and becoming a mega member.
It's been awesome, Hallie, just to see people sign up for basically our own little network where you can get ad-free listening and the behind-the-scenes podcast. And yeah, we're just feeling so blessed. Go check out mega.supercast.com.
Yeah, for only $6.66 a month. I don't know why it's that, but for that amount of money, you can become a member. And you know what? I believe God is going to rain down blessings into your life if you do that. And you're going to get blessed with all kinds of fun behind the scenes stuff. And, stuff that I don't really want to talk about here because I got to get to what Christ is doing, Cray, because he is really at work. And it really blesses my socks off. And, I would love to hear what's happening with you and your Climax kids.
Well, we had an amazing week in Climax, Hallie. We hosted a youth group all the way from Ireland.
Ireland? Oh, I love Ireland. The people are so wonderful and they speak English.
Oh, I know. And they're funny and they really on fire for Christ. Their youth group is called the Leper Cons.
Oh, cool.
Because, of course, Jesus, cured the leper. And
he said, what leprosy, yo?
That's right. And so the leprechauns were here. There's about 30 of them. All my teens just really were interested because, they talk differently. And so sometimes you need to just shake it up. And one of the things that they did, Hallie, that I thought was just an amazing witness is, they do a kind of dance in Ireland that's, they keep the hands very They're very straight by the sides.
Yeah, their
and
arms don't move.
That's right. And
They kind of look like a nutcracker on top.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever used to watch Riverdance?
That guy who does Riverdance
Michael
is
Flatley?
so cool.
I loved Michael Flatley.
He was so awesome.
Oh, Michael Flatley was
What a way
amazing.
to show how a man can
He was
truly
incredible.
get down without
Just-
shaking those hips and being suggestive
exactly.
of sex.
His feet were lightning. And they do that type of dance, and they do it out on the street.
Oh, that's
and
so
that's
cool.
how they get people interested in the message of Christ.
Irish dancing seems like Christian dancing because
Well,
you
it
don't
is.
have to have genitals to do it.
And you don't have to be Catholic to do it. But I do want to say that it was interesting, Hallie, because, and this was just a funny little thing that happened. I wanted to go see them do it. And so I called their youth leader, whose name was like Oisin McDonough, Irish Seamus something.
Seamus O'Callahan.
Right. And he said, right, just come on down. We're doing it right now. You'll go out of the church, take a left, and then go down to the Turd Satellites.
Oh, turd satellites.
Turd Satellites.
Turd satellites.
And I was like,
I don't
Turd
know where that
Satellites?
is.
What is that?
Is that a bar?
Well, that's immediately my mind went to the indoor trampoline place where sometimes we'll do youth events just because of what happened last year. And I don't want to name names, but Blankenship Offering was up on one of those, and I think you can I think you know where the satellite part comes and where the turd part comes.
Well, the turd part can come because, there have been, in the same way you can be swimming in a public pool and a turtle float by.
Well, Hallie, I don't want to get into all that.
Same thing with
Yeah.
trampoline zones.
Oh, exactly.
You can end up bouncing around and you notice a turd is on the surface of that trampoline and there's a turd bouncing right next to you. So, I mean, that could be turd satellites.
Right. Well, that's exactly the story that I didn't want to tell.
Oh.
But, Hallie, I'm just going turd satellites. And then I'm driving around. I realized he had said third set of lights.
Oh, traffic lights?
Yes. But when you say it in an
Third
Irish way,
set
it's
of
turd satellites.
Oh, turd satellites.
And so I just thought that was so funny. We just laughed and laughed about it, even though I was a bit annoyed because I, truly was driving around for about 45 minutes and I missed the whole Irish dance thing.
Oh.
But that's what's going on in Climax, Hallie. How are you? What's going on with you?
Well, I was on my lunch break trying to pick up some props for, Brett Schmitz, who creates all our props for the weekend services, should, lead Pastor Steve need some visual aids and things like that to make his messages so relevant. You know what I mean? They're so relevant. We don't call them sermons. We call them messages,
right.
And so I went to the mall. I was picking up some props for the weekend services. And I run into my husband, Lance Labont, at Annie's Pretzels.
What's he doing at the mall?
I said, Lance, what is going on? I've run into you now at the Macaroni Grill at Don Protini's and now here at Annie's Pretzels. And I did go ahead and order a sweet pretzel. You can get them savory there. You can get a sweet one. So I got one dipped in sugar and cinnamon.
I've
then
never
you
had
can
a pretzel.
Also dip it into frosting and it's so good. And
Doesn't that just make it a cake?
so as I'm eating my sweet pretzel, which I should have waited and eaten it after my savory pretzel, but I had the sweet one first because you know what, Jesus could come back at any time. So I says to him over my pretzel, I says, Lance, what's going on? Why aren't you at work? I've noticed that your paychecks are now coming in as cash, on our banking online. What's up? And he was like, oh, no, I'm working remotely today. He whipped out his laptop just then, opened it up, started, holding the laptop in his left hand and tip-tapping away, typing with his right and being like, look at this, I'm closing deals and merging things and acquisitioning things. And as you know, he's
Right.
an importing, exporting.
Exactly.
And so I says,
Well, that's nice. He has the flexibility.
It really is. And I wanted to stay and learn more, but I had to scoot out of there fast and get back to church.
Oh, why?
Well, I'd had both the sweet pretzel and the savory pretzel. And, well, speaking of turd satellites.
Oh, no, Hallie, I don't want to know about that.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/credit card, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Just like the Holy Spirit manages our hearts as we supplicate ourselves to Jesus and his Father, our guest today manages the Manna Food Court. It is our cafeteria genius extraordinaire. Welcome to the program, Tess Bona. How you feeling today, Tess?
I am so grateful to be here. This is huge for me.
Tess, this is huge for us because you are a huge part of Manor, the food court, the cafeteria, everything that's going on when it comes to feeding the people of this congregation. You are the, what is it? What's the thing in the middle of a wheel? I guess you could call that a
cog?
No, something, the thing that everything in the wheel is around.
The center?
The liaison.
Yes.
That's more.
Ooh.
The liaison of a wheel.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. No, I mean, when Barbara quit, I knew that was my chance.
I know. And you've been working there for a while now, haven't you?
Yes.
As assistant to you're kind of the assistant to the assistant manager, and you've really come up.
Yes. And I know that I can put that cafeteria on the map. I want to do a full rebrand.
Really?
And this podcast is going to reach the right people. And I just know that I can get the word out and just tell everybody about how wonderful this place is.
I love that.
That is awesome. And I feel like you're not just a go-getter, you're an innovator, and also you're a good listener. And I think that's an important part of being a true leader. I went to Tess recently and I was like, you know what? I've really enjoyed putting sunflower seeds on my cottage cheese from the salad bar for a very long time. But I recently was like, what if we branched out and had some salty pumpkin seeds roasted on there? Because that's good on a cottage cheese too. Guess what we had the very next day on the salad bar?
I wasn't listening. Sorry.
We had some roasted pumpkin seeds, and that is good on a cottage cheese.
Yes. And they're hard to find. You have to ask for pepitas, which I didn't know.
Really?
But this job is expanding my mind, just like Jesus, just like the Lord, just like I just want to see things with a new perspective. And now I know the word pepita. There's just no limit to what you could know in your life.
I thought pepita meant little child, but I'm not sure.
I thought, it was when you carry a kid, you sort of strap to your body on a blanket. Or maybe it sounds like one of those meat pies, a pepita.
I love a meat pie. That was a nickname of mine in high school.
Meat pie.
Right.
Yeah, I make a really delicious beef pie.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, I did want to ask before we get into, too much about the food. I mean, how are you about managing people? Because I feel like you really have, you got a lot of people working down there in the food court. And you having been there for a while, but now really taking that leadership position, what are some things that you're doing to lead effectively?
So this might sound controversial, but just go on this ride with me. People love to be led by force. Awesome. And they like to be in line. They like to be forced to do things so that they can fight and fight and fight and then learn and then go inside.
Yep.
And so I like to push things, agendas, beliefs, all kinds of stuff.
Amazing.
And I look at my people as, in a holistic way. Awesome. So I'll go to their homes, I'll meet their families. I tell their families, preferences of mine. And this is, and that's how I was led. And I love this technique.
Amazing.
They should come up for a name. with that technique, for that technique.
I mean, it's kind of full spectrum leadership, isn't it?
That's right.
Love that.
That's
you can
right.
use it with climax.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had sort of full blown leadership when it comes to climax, and a similar style where I will go to a house, I will go to a family, and I'll say, hey, here's what we got to change here. I can have your teen for one night, 2 nights a week, but the rest of the time they're your responsibility, and I'm going to have to tell you how to parent them.
You know what? And tell me if I'm out of line here, but just like from a leadership perspective, I wonder if you could talk to the teen's parents and say, let me see this teen as in a holistic way. Let me see their room. Let me go into their room and sit with them and connect with them.
Well,
or have them go into your room.
Right. I don't take feedback typically with my leadership style, but I have done that. I have done that.
Oh, you have? Okay, great.
As a mom of teens, I talk to my kids about this stuff all the time. I said, what makes someone a leader? And my kids usually say something stupid like, well, turn around and see if people are following you. And I'm like, your skull isn't completely hardened yet. No, what makes a leader is someone who has authority over you and demands obedience. And, if God has put someone in authority, then, that's a great responsibility. And people want to be told what to do. They want the 10 Commandments. Just, hey, God, tell us how to live. Okay, he slaps it on some tablets and now we know. So that there's no, we don't need this mamby-pamby kind of sensitive stuff that the liberals are trying to push on us. Like maybe, communicate, teach people to how to express themselves effectively and regulate their emotions. Hey, guess what people need? Not to regulate their emotions, but to be told that their feelings are probably wrong because their body's evil and dragging them straight to hell. See, now I'm not a leader, but I feel like I was just talking like a leader just then.
You are a leader because that's what a leader sounds like.
Wow. Really?
That's exactly what a leader sounds like. It's a little inspiring. I love your passion.
Oh, thank you so much. See, I look up to people like you, Tess, because you are a woman in leadership, and God doesn't make very many female leaders, but you are. I mean, you're managing all of manna.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I do rely a lot on my husband in scripture to guide me.
Awesome.
But I receive with gratitude and I say thank you, but also couldn't do it without the men in my life.
Well, the way we lost Barbara being swept out to sea like that and not having any body recovered or anything, I mean, my goodness gracious. And we thought she would be leading the Manna Food Court forever, and not just because her last name was Cooker, but, maybe it was that, her name was Barbara Cooker. We thought she was it. But, your last name is Bona, and I think you're bona fide.
Thank you so much. Okay, that is really a nickname I was hoping for. Bona fide. It's
awesome.
Thank you. I wanted to make it my handle on my Facebook.
Okay.
Bona fide. I was thinking about it, but did you know there's a broth company that's called Bona fide? And then I just didn't want to be associated with them.
With broth? No, you would want to be the bone, not the broth.
Yeah, I did, and I did want to ask you about this idea because really when it comes to women in leadership in the church, we don't have many, and you are basically responsible for feeding everyone here. Is that a lot of pressure, and how do you deal with it, or is it mostly that you just tell your husband?
I tell my husband. That is part of it, and he guides me. But then also, I like to look at myself in the mirror. And I talk to myself and, I talk sternly, like as I would with one of my subordinates. And I look at myself and if I need to, smack my face a little bit just to get me riled, just to get the point across. Sometimes I'll have my husband, tell me things, what to say to myself in the mirror. And he does. And he's great. He's great about that. But yeah, that's how I really face the leadership role. And it's an honor.
And is your husband, I've met you, Tony, right? Tony Bona?
He's awesome.
Yeah, what an interesting guy.
Bona. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's really interesting. We met line dancing, and he was so good on his feet. And I looked at him, and I'm terrible. And we locked eyes, and he kind of motioned for me to come over, and he just grabbed me, kind of.
It's like a movie.
Yes, it was like a movie. So he kind of motioned and grabbed me, and I just he made me dance with him in the most fun, beautiful way. And I had been working all day. My friends dragged me there. I had blisters on my feet because I had done this whole long walk. It was like a walk for Jesus thing that we don't have to go into that, but it was like a whole thing. And I was so tired and my legs hurt and I had blisters, and he forced me to dance. And we just fell in love.
And just so people know who are listening, the way he gestured, I just want to point out, because it was kind of a 2 fingers like point, like 2 fingers, you come here kind of gesture, which is, wow, that is like a movie.
Yeah, yeah. And
it sort of reminds me of, who's that guy who did all his own stunts, and
Tom
Tony
Cruise.
Danza?
Oh yeah. That's right. Oh my gosh, they both do their own stunts. But the way you kind of hold out 2 fingers pointing, and then you turn your palm towards your own face, and then you have the 2 fingers gesturing towards like, come here, and the fact that, is that why you had the spaghetti Western themed wedding that you and Tony had in the chapel? Because that's
that is exactly why. You didn't know that?
No.
Oh, wow. Yes. Yeah.
And so much spaghetti.
Yeah. I loved your reception.
Spaghetti. Well, Tony is half Italian.
Oh,
That's
is he?
right.
Yes. So we had a lot of spaghetti.
Which half, the Tony part or the Bona part?
The Tony.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's so nice to, have the support. And you said sometimes you have to get stern with your employees. Do you have to dole out punishments? Because I always thought that would be the best part of because I can't really punish the teens, but I always thought that would be the kind of cool part of being a boss or the president.
I don't know. I don't really punish them. I would just put their headshot on the wall and have people throw things at it and just sort of make an example of them by setting them up in front of everybody and talking about their flaws and what they did wrong. But I don't think it's really a punishment. Yeah. I don't really have that kind of, I don't really do that with my leadership. I might, make them work without pay, but I don't really consider that I don't think I punish them in any way.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's probably nice. They're probably thankful.
I like how all the employees have headshots up, and that no matter where they're working around the whole food court, you can see that, if you go up to the pizza window to get a slice, that you can look at the, behind, see the headshot, and then you can call them by name. You can say, oh, thank you, Samantha. I'll take a Hawaiian, Samantha. And, because I'm really glad you're keeping the Hawaiian slices. I know that it's been controversial, but, I believe you can put anything on pizza.
I love Hawaiian pizza.
Right? What's
But
wrong
you know
with
what
that?
happened with Samantha?
What?
She was with Barbara. That night they went. Yes.
Oh, really?
Oh,
yes.
No. I wondered why I haven't seen her. So she's traumatized.
It's interesting
too,
that
huh?
you. No, well, she's gone. She's with Barbara out to sea. They lost their bodies, both of them.
Oh
Really?
no, never recovered.
Never recovered.
Oh no.
They found a finger, which is so hard to do in an ocean. But
well,
they
thank
found
goodness
one.
it's a finger, because it'll have a print on it, and you can
Yes.
identify where the body.
Oh,
what
and that's
body
I
it
guess that was
on.
my question. Was it a finger that was connected possibly to one of those 2 ladies?
Yes. Yeah, I believe it. I believe it was Samantha's finger that they found.
Wow.
I'm
Well,
sorry. I shouldn't bring that up right now. I should do it after.
Well, it's
No.
definitely an interesting topic, especially around the subject of food. But I did want to ask, why are people? Doesn't this seem more common now that people are just swept out to sea? I don't understand it.
I know
Why
it
do-
does
why do-
happen so
It
much.
happens so much now, doesn't it?
I feel like I hear the story every day.
I know.
What is
Every
up
day,
with that?
someone's just swept out to
So
sea.
often, multiple times a day sometimes.
You know,
I know.
I'm
And
going
I'm
to put
like-
it on the top of my prayer list.
Oh, love that.
Yeah, where
Can
are they
you-
going?
Are they going on all these cruises? And you would think if it's a big boat that they wouldn't get swept, but I guess it's a kayak or a small boat or something. But stop doing it, because it's an epidemic at this point.
Yeah, I do love the Midwest as a place where at least you can have water access with, a lake, where being swept out to lake, it's not even a phrase, is it?
No.
I've never heard that.
Mm-mm. I don't think lakes have undertows or riptides whatsoever. And, the Great Lakes of the Midwest are dotted with the most gorgeous lighthouses.
Oh,
And so
what a metaphor. Beautiful.
it's a beautiful metaphor. We got people up in lighthouses watching out for you. We got the Coast Guard. You know what I mean? I mean, all these things are, I think, great metaphors for God.
God shines a light. God shines his light
See?
on all of us.
Oh, I love that. You know, I did. And speaking of fingers, I like how you've removed all the kind of silly, what I would call screens. And, you know, at the cafeteria now, it's kind of like if you can reach it, you can go for it. And, you know, it's what is that you calling a sort of a trough now? It's less of individual items and more sort of long trough style, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, no, I want to keep everything mixed up and I want to challenge people. No one gets challenged these days. Everything's so easy.
And by mixed up, you mean the types of food getting mixed up?
Yes. Why do you need to know, is this only corn? Is this only peas? Mix it up.
I love that.
It's all God's. It's all God's.
Isn't that right? Well, I'm glad that you have that philosophy because what it has gotten us is that now we're allowed to do swirl again on the soft serve machine. Because
Barbara was such a stick in the mud.
I know.
She said it has to be
Boring.
chocolate or it has to be vanilla because she thought that was some kind of commentary on like God and Satan or something, and you can't put them together. And I says, no, sometimes you just want a little vanilla with your chocolate.
She took things a little bit literally sometimes. That was very frustrating working below her and then below that person for so many years.
You should never take stuff literally, except for the entirety of the Bible.
And the fact that, you know, both Barbara and Samantha, someone above and below you, were swept out to sea. I mean, that is, I mean, I'm sorry, but I would not go near a body of water for a while if I were you.
Yeah, no, I have no plans to go anywhere near water. And I had nothing to do with anything, and I wasn't there at all.
Okay.
And I would never, I don't go near water, and I haven't been near water in 6 years.
That's smart. That's smart. And I say, you know, if you get swept out to sea and there's no body, guess what? They usually say if there's no body, there's no crime. But what I say is if there's no body, God must have really wanted you and just took you straight to heaven. And so honestly, Samantha and Barbara are doing better now than we are because guess where they are? Heaven, having a great time.
Thank you for saying that. Because I went to a dark place after, after that night, just by myself without anybody else near me and just from my home. I was nowhere else. And then, so I just felt like it was very heavy on me, just knowing what happened. Not knowing, but, assuming what happened. So that was really hard when I was at my house with Tony.
I can imagine.
He'll tell you that I was there.
Yeah.
Well, you're lucky to have an Italian husband because Italian men have what they call machismo. And, you know, in case that's like a Pepita word or whatever, basically what it means is a man who acts like a man, which is what God wants. You know what I mean? And so I'm sure you can crawl into Tony's arms and he'll comfort you. You know,
I wish I
God's love.
could. I can't fit in them. They're very small. If we could just get in the right position, we've been working on it.
You know, I had a fun idea for a protein-based sort of grab-and-go snack for men called nachismo, which would be, you know, heated cheese that you could pour over anything. And maybe that's something to put in the food court.
I don't know if that would work, but I could talk to Tony about it, but it just doesn't, I don't know.
Oh, so a lot of times do you check in with Tony first before you make a decision at the food court?
I like to. I want to do a full rebrand and we were talking about it. And I want to rebrand the cafeteria and just maybe I was thinking about, and this is something I'm going to pitch to Tony and God, cross-shaped cafeteria trays with a little ledge so the trough food doesn't spill.
That's awesome.
Wouldn't that be so fun?
So are you carrying just sort of the shape of a cross as a tray?
Yes.
Wow. Yes, that seems convenient.
Yes, and then the forks and spoons would be shaped like a cross, which I don't know like technically how they would work, but I don't know. If Jesus is involved, it'll work somehow.
Maybe you use 2 crosses and they're like chopsticks. I mean, you could
That's
even make
fun.
Cross sticks.
That's cool.
Love that.
Cross sticks. That could sweep the nation and overtake anyone who uses chopsticks, which I don't think
Really?
is that many people. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
well,
because I want to get us on the map. I mean, there's never been a cafeteria Michelin star ever.
Oh, really?
I want write-ups in magazines. I want to build the business, you know?
Yes.
Don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, and that's the thing is, I would love to go to a cafeteria where I can also get, my tires changed. And I think that is something that I'm always wondering, because I've been to Michelin places and I'm like going, hey, okay, but I also need tires.
McCrispy strips are now at McDonald's. I hope you're ready for the most dippable chicken in McDonald's history. Dip it in all the sauces. Dip it in that hot sauce in your bag. Dip it in your McFlurry. Your dip is your business. McCrispy strips at McDonald's.
Are your business expenses playing hide and seek? With Uber for Business, the small spends that slip through the cracks, like rides and meals, go right where you need them. Because it integrates with leading expense platforms, you can say goodbye to surprise costs, missing dollars, or chasing receipts. Everything's track downable. Uber for Business. Make small steps that make a big impact. Learn more at uber.com/small steps.
Oh, I meant the Michelin star rating from restaurants.
Oh, yeah, right. That's what I meant to.
But you know
Okay.
what? Costco has a cafeteria and you can get
Yes.
tires. Maybe we should consider it.
Have you had one of their hot dogs?
Costco, yeah. I love anything Costco makes. What? Are they bad?
They're delicious.
They're delicious.
I can eat 5 of those hot dogs.
Yeah.
And is
No,
that
really,
why-
I can, and I have.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that why you had your high school nickname?
Yeah, that back in high school, I used to go to Costco,
Oh,
And-
wow.
and I would make a pie out of the hot dogs because you use the bun to get the pie
Yeah.
crust, and then
Yeah.
the hot dog to make the meat. And I felt misunderstood because people said it was something else, but I thought it was from the hot dogs.
I never thought about that. But I mean, honestly, technically, a hot dog is a meat pie.
In high school, they used to call me sausage pants, but I don't really want to get into that. But anyway, I think that's a great.
So-
Do you know
Sausage
why they
pants.
called you sausage pants?
Is it
Did you
because you had legs that were sausages and you put
You
the
know,
sausage?
I don't even really know why I volunteered that information, but I did have a question.
Was it
Sure.
that you smelled like sausage?
Oh,
really?
Sometimes
I
I
love
get a meaty
fennel-y
whiff off
kind
you.
of
Mhm.
peppery sausage
Yeah.
smell
Mm-hmm.
where you sear it good on a griddle.
Yeah.
I like to
Is
dip
that
my
what the
sausage
smell you
links in
had?
syrup. Yeah.
I
What
don't-
is
I
your
don't-
Oh,
scent?
what was
Yeah.
the scent?
I don't really think it had to do with that, but a lot of times I would just be like, "You're jealous,"
Oh,
they're
that's
just
probably
jealous.
true.
Oh,
Mm.
yes, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And I did want to ask Tess, if Barbara and Samantha were to ever be found, are
They
you
won't be. I don't
Oh,
think
okay.
they will be.
Really?
But what? I mean, just I would.
Yeah. It's a
God
deep blue
wanted
sea.
them in
Yeah.
heaven. So
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
What? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut
Well, I
you
guess I'm
off.
just wondering, like, do you kind of think of that, like, hey, they might turn up, and are you still sort of like, saving room for them in terms of decisions when you're considering these new changes and decisions? Are you going, hey, Barbara might be back?
If I were to say Barbara might be back, that would be me arguing with the Lord. And I don't do that.
Yeah.
I just don't do it. I'm an acceptor and a receiver.
Yep.
And I accept and receive the Lord. And if the Lord wants my friends to go
Barbara,
to heaven,
Yeah.
my best friends, / family members, sort of, then not literally related, but yeah, I would just say, like, please, God, take them.
Do we have any idea what actually happened? Like, they were just, standing on the shore and they got the big wave showed up?
Yeah, it must have been an unrecorded tsunami type wave that must have gotten them. if you do the math, because their bodies are gone and they were just standing there on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really? Can
Wow,
you
I
imagine?
dream about tsunami waves a lot. That's a bad dream I have. That
Oh,
there's
really?
a
Really?
big wave. I'm on the beach and there's a wave where I'm like, whoa, that wave is too big and it's coming. And I start running.
And then
It-
what?
And then usually I wake up in a sweat. And then I'll, do a quick EKG on my husband, Lance Labont, because sometimes, if I'm awake, I'm like, I should just do it because he's only eaten animal protein products for the last 10 years and he requires a daily EKG. So sometimes I just do it in the middle of the night.
So you never understand why the tsunami wave is coming at you. Do you ever analyze it or think about what it could mean?
Yeah, what do you think the symbolism means? I mean, I know that, in the Bible, Pharaoh was having dreams and he needed someone to interpret them. And so we know that dreams are symbolic. I wonder what the wave could mean.
Maybe it could mean that you feel a sense of overwhelm and an inauthenticity within the way that you move through this world.
Wow. Do you want to be my accountability buddy? Because you are just
Really?
seeing me like I'm transparent. Uh-huh.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I
No,
do.
Hallie, you don't feel that way. I don't think.
I
mean,
do.
No, I
I
do. I
don't?
don't really think you do.
Okay, maybe I don't.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a guess, just off the
okay.
top of my head. Yeah, or lack of control.
I'm sorry to play the angel's advocate, but I would say that could possibly mean and probably mean God is showing his power in your life. A lot of times when I have a dream, I'll say, which of these things in my dream is God? And usually I'll pick the biggest, best part, coolest part. And just see how that reflects in my life. So, Hallie, maybe you're thinking like, look, God, it's all powerful. He could take me out at any time, kind of like Barbara, R.I.P. And maybe that means you need to, work as hard as you can, run the race as fast as you can for God before he does.
Awesome. Wow. That's cool.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, Tess, we're so lucky to have a man here to be able to speak into the female experience and tell us what
I don't know what I'm talking about. Inauthenticity, fear, lack of control. Like what? No. It's definitely God playing a role in your life. For sure. It makes so much more sense. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks, Gray.
Thank you for thanking.
Thank you for thanking.
Thank you for thanking back when I thanked.
Thank you for thanking.
Wait,
Okay,
I'm writing
that's
this down because I'm going to hang this up in the cafeteria. The thank you for thanking.
Thank you for thanking.
Thank you for
It's a beautiful
thanking. Thank you for
sentiment.
thanking.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
I love that.
It's a beautiful sentiment. It's beautiful. Now, have you gotten any better at line dancing? Because I can't figure out how to do it. But if I had a diminutive little guy like Tony wheeling me around, I bet I could get the steps right. Are you good at it now?
That's such a great question. Ever since that night, Tony goes back, but he asks me to stay home. So he goes back to line dancing and I practice at home and I know that I'm just getting ready for when we're going to be able to go back out again together.
Yeah.
But no, he kind of goes out on his own and wants me to hold down the fort. I like to be in bed by 8 per his orders anyway. So I feel like, so I'm just usually, to answer your question, yes, but haven't been able to practice.
Just the
in
image
public.
of someone line dancing alone at home. I mean, that is.
I follow the YouTube.
Oh,
cool.
Yes, I follow the YouTube instructors. Lots of them.
And isn't it interesting? And I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but my friend Clay Mason Bannerman and I will often go line dancing because that, the great thing about it, Hallie, is that there are ladies there, obviously a lot of Christian ladies. It's a great way to meet ladies. Of course, this is when we weren't dating, but, now that we have lady friends, we don't go as much, but that was a great place to meet ladies. And the nice part is you're not tempted to touch them, put your hands on them, because this is what guys are always thinking about, isn't it? Instead, you're standing side by side in a line, hands on your hip.
Yep.
The only thing that you're going to touch or slap every once in a while is the side of your boot.
Yep.
And that, to me, was a really Christian way of
true.
dancing without having the temptation, basically stripping all of this temptation and sexuality out of dance, and you get line dancing.
It's wholesome.
I would love to go. I would love to go out dancing. Maybe we could all go out sometime.
Tess, I would line dance with you. I think it would be a blast. And I got time because at night my husband, Lance Labont, puts his feet up in his lazy boy and he watches ESPN on his phone and on the TV at the same time. So I've got time. And you know what, Tess? I don't want you to worry about, Gray said that, it's a great way to meet ladies. I don't think that's what Tony's doing. I'm sure the reason
That is where my mind went when he said
I'm
that.
sorry about that. Yeah.
It's
sorry.
okay. You didn't know.
Well, I also don't think ladies should go just with ladies. You know what I mean? Because then you have kind of the issue of just the way that looks. Two ladies line dancing, and I'm kind of going, okay,
right.
that's a bit,
Yeah, you're right. That is
Jess,
weird.
I think I know why Tony's keeping you at home, and this is the truth, and I want to speak some truth into your life. If I might give you a word basket of encouragement.
Please.
I think that it's because you are such a delicious woman that he knows that the men who are showing up in these spaces and places would stumble in the flesh if they saw
Really?
you. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Wow. So, okay, so when you say delicious, is that because of the hot dog smell that I have?
You do smell like
you do
food,
smell
and
like
that's what
food.
men
It's
are
just like a
attracted
general
to.
food smell.
Yeah.
Okay, can I tell you a secret?
Ooh,
To
please.
try to get Tony to be like a
Yeah.
little bit more attracted to me and maybe use the word delicious to describe me,
Oh.
I'll rub the hot dog on me. I'll
The-
rub the
oh.
hot dog.
You
I'll
know
rub the
what?
hot dog on my temples
Ooh.
so that
Really?
if we hug or kiss, it's, and then I'll do my neck and my wrists, like where you would put perfume.
That's
Well,
smart.
and I
It does
could
drive him
probably
crazy and he
speak
doesn't
into
know.
this.
I'll put a meatball on there.
Really? I mean, men are carnivores. We are
That's right.
we are we are the hunters, the hunter gatherers.
Yep.
And I would encourage you. I haven't personally done this because, well, I actually use Home Depot's new cologne line, which basically just smells like Home Depot. Which, if you ever been in one, it smells great.
They have a new
So
cologne line?
Isn't it
That's
great? I mean, it
cool.
just smells. I mean, it's got that wood smell and
that's
kind of
awesome.
turpentine, various kind of spray paints.
Ooh.
Metal shavings. It's really good.
Various
Smell like
types
a
of
tuba
spray
for it.
paint. Oh,
But I would
Yum.
say, instead of the meat, just go with the hot dog water, because hot dog water is essentially the
yes.
perfume of a hot dog, isn't it?
okay. Can I tell you, like, I have sprayed that on me, but it does leave a film.
Oh,
And
okay.
then I slip on things. Like, I'll spray it on me, it lands on the floor, and I'll slip. And it's not as potent, but I love where you're going with that.
Yeah.
I'm going to tinker with it because I wonder if I could put, I don't know if this is sounding crazy, but you guys are so accepting of this that I just feel like it's okay that I'm saying this, but maybe I'll put the hot dog chunks in the spray bottle
That's not a bad idea.
and I'll keep it in the fridge.
And I do think that, like, you can go too far with a meat-based smell, but as a guy who's really into carnivore diets,
Yes.
just really buys into the idea that men should pretty much be eating meat all the time and only doing things that, men have been doing for a few thousand years, up to 5,000 years. I think it's a great idea. And if Tony needs some incentive,
Yes.
and I mean, pun intended, I think that would be a great way to do it.
Do you ever go hunting?
I've really thought about it because I feel like I'd be really good at it. But I think, I just think I would be really good at it. But,
Yeah.
because I do kind of have that instinct.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think.
What's the instinct? Just to find the target and get the target
Yeah,
with a gun?
guys are just like that. We like, if something moves fast, I'm always the first one to see it because my eyes, when the teens in climax are doing something they shouldn't be doing, my eyes are right on them. So yeah, but I have not had the opportunity because, obviously I'm super busy right now.
I wonder if you could plan some kind of hunting trip with the teens. Maybe just the boys.
The boys.
Teen
Just
hunting
take the
trip.
boys.
Teen hunting boys
yes.
trip.
Yes.
Teen hunting
And
boys trip.
Have you ever seen those videos where there's a man out in the woods and he puts a slap of beef on like a little trunk?
Campfire.
Like
I
it's
love these
like
videos.
a cut tree, or no, or sometimes they'll wash a big rock and put a fire under the rock, and then the rock becomes. Maybe we should incorporate something like that in the cafeteria.
Isn't that awesome?
I don't know.
I love videos like that. Oh, I think men would love that if we had the ability
Something
to
like
just
that.
kind of like throw meat on various hot things and just really show like this is what guys do, Hallie.
Yes.
I mean, Tess, maybe you could start a fragrance line that you sell in the cafeteria. I mean, maybe, you know what the smell could be? You know when you throw a steak on the grill, that smell, if you could bottle that, I mean, men would come running. And I've never thought about it before, but you yourself are meat.
And I want to
am
attract
meat.
more men into the cafeteria. Just to level up the place, you know?
You know, maybe it could even be an idea where you give men, you know, outside, you could kind of give them the experience of hunting where they pick out the steak and then they come in and they hand it to you or one of the other ladies working there and you all throw it on the fire. I mean, that right there is kind of what the relationship in a great Christian household should even look like, right?
I love
We bring the
that.
meat, you cook the meat.
I love that. And it sends a message to the little ones.
Yes.
And there's little ones everywhere, you know? And I put them to work, which is really fun.
And you're talking about, you're talking about
Little
kids.
ones, children, yes.
Okay, that's our episode, but before you go, please consider supporting Mega on Supercast. We bring you great social satire every single week, filling you with lots of joy. We really need your help. Go to mega.supercast.com. We're trying to get to 1,000 supporters, and we really need your help.
Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Tess Bona was played by our darling and delicious dear friend, Jess Rona. You can follow her at Jess Rona Grooming. And truly, thank you for considering. For $6 a month, you can become a Mega member. Doesn't that feel good?